Labour candidates have been ordered to campaign in target seats or face the sack. We're going to read into this exclusive from iNews, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from iNews with the headline of Labour candidates have been ordered to campaign in target seats or face the sack. Starmer's election campaign gets tactical as candidates in low priority seats gets targeted for canvassing impaired target areas with tough sanctions for disobeying. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. So let me get this right. So candidates who are supposed to obviously campaign in their own constituency, even if it's one that they have no chance of winning, have a low chance of winning, have been told that they must not give their time in their own seat and focus on the targeted seats in their area that are the likely ones to win them election. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is a bit stupid. If you're not even going to allow the candidate to campaign in that seat, even if they have no chance of winning, what is the point of even running? What is the point of even running in that seat? If you're not even going to give that person the time they need to try and make a case to the people in that constituency to vote for them, what is the point? What is the actual point? Why even waste time being a part of it? Yeah. If why even bother being a candidate at all if you're not even going to get there? I mean, this is stupid. I'm sorry, this is stupid. Now maybe some of you might say, well, this is normal, Regan. This is actually normal that they do these things. Yes, there's nothing wrong with helping other candidates in your political party in their seats. Yeah, but to say to them that they need to be prioritizing non-stop just the seats around them and not their own seat, are you not going to give them their time that they need for them? Just feels wrong to me. It doesn't feel right to me. I mean, people have talked about how big of an opportunity this is for Labour to wipe out the Conservatives, to really, really wipe them out. You're not going to wipe them out if you're not prepared to if you're being a little bit bold and brave. And it seems to me like Labour are playing way too safe. And I think this is really unfair on those who are going to be who are candidates for certain seats if they're campaigning in their own seat and they're not campaigning in targeted seats and they're going to be punished for this. This feels extremely unfair. Really, really does. That's how it comes across to me. Maybe I'm the one going mad here. Now, maybe they do this with other political parties, but specifically, the reason why this is obviously highlighted as for Labour is obviously because they're the ones who are likely to be the next government. Whether you fundamentally agree with their policies, and you guys know, those who have been watching, you know how I feel about Labour. You know, I would rather have Labour over the Conservatives for sure. I would not want Wes Streeting as my health secretary for a number of reasons, which I've highlighted in previous past. I think Keir Starmer is someone who's playing it way too safe and not being bold and brave and not giving people hope when we need it. Among many other things that I've said about Labour. But this really kind of just feels very cruel and very unfair for candidates. And that's just how it comes across to me. As I said, maybe it's seen as a normal thing to some people, but I don't think this is right. So Labour have warned candidates in non-target constituencies that they would be deselected if they do not put up enough hours in campaigning in other winnable seats the eye can reveal. What? The so-called battleground seats constituencies in parties aiming to win in the general election are having maximum campaign resources poured into it. But seats where the party do not think it has a chance of success, such as Tory and Lib Dem marginals, are not priorities and are having resources taken away, according to Labour insiders. The eye understands candidates standing in the low priority seats are being paired with target constituencies and asked to campaign there instead. Multiple Labour sources said they were asked to divert attention to seats the party thinks it can win. News comes this week as national poll found that Labour's substantial poll lead over the Tories is narrowing. Data from Savannah published on Tuesday showed Keir Starmer's party lead fell by 6 points, although the party's 15-point lead suggests it is still on course for a general election victory. A constituency Labour Party executive revealed that a behaviour code has been imposed on a non-battleground seat where there have been twinned with nearby target constituencies. Non-battleground candidates are given strict instructions about how much they campaign in their constituency, and the sanctions for disobeying are very strong, the Secretary said in the email seen by the Eye. If candidates do not spend enough time campaigning outside their own seat in their targeted battleground area where they are twinned with, there is explicit threat of deselection and that they could lose their right to their party's emailing and canvassing tools. A senior National Labour official told the Eye that prospective and confirmed candidates were required to meet certain canvassing targets in named battleground seats. So they haven't outright denied it, but they have said, so they haven't outright denied it here. But what they have said is, what they're basically saying is that there is truth to this. The CLP secretary added that the redirection of resources effectively means a blue-yellow margin will be left completely adrift to let the Lib Dems win. Yeah, this is now on this does not surprise me, and I don't think it surprised many of you either, especially when the Lib Dems are more likely to win that seat. But again, I do have to ask this, guys, because I do ask this question again, though. What is the point of a candidate being put up forward if you're not going to allow them to campaign in that area? What is the point? That's the point I'm making here. If it's a straight up battle between the Lib Dems and Conservatives, and you have a Labour candidate in there who doesn't have a chance of winning, but you're not even going to allow that candidate to campaign in that area, what is the point? This is my argument to it. So Labour and Lib Dems have denied they would enter a formal pact, but the shift in campaign resources indicate the parties are being tactical about where they believe efforts would be most effective. Now, I will say, obviously, that while it doesn't seem like, if you hear a cat in the background, don't worry, it's fine. I will say that while there doesn't appear to be a formal pact, there does seem to be some kind of agreement that looks like of some sorts, I would say, between the two parties. Because there's one thing that the whole of the UK wants is the Conservatives gone. Everyone wants the Conservatives gone. The vast majority of the public want the Conservatives gone. Despite the fact there are still insane people out there who think voting Conservative will be, for some reason, will be beneficial to their lives when we've all been worse off after 14 years. And both parties are not going to take anything to chance, really. So I do think that is, and I do think that will play into the minds of people, that people really want the Conservatives gone, which is why I do believe a lot of tactical voting will come in. And we also have to remember, guys, this is really, really important. The voter ID is going to have a massive effect on this general election as well. A lot of people are going to be denied voting at this general election when it comes around as well. And we will see a huge amount of people will be denied their right to vote because they didn't bring ID to them to the polls as well. That's a very fundamental factor as well. So Lib Dems also said the party was shrinking the numbers because the number of seats it is targeting, compared with recent elections, and constituencies where they previously came third are deprioritising entirely. Compass, a cross-party campaign that works with progressive parties, encouraging them to work together to push for democratic reforms, including proportional representation, is welcoming Labour's campaigning tactic. Compass and co-founder director Neil Lawson said, being strategic about campaign resources was not a new phenomenon. I didn't expect it to be a new phenomenon, that being strategic about the campaign. My point is about what is the point of having a candidate in a seat if you're not going to allow that candidate to give time in that constituency. That's my argument. Yeah, nothing wrong with the candidate helping out a key target seat. I've no reason for that. But taking away completely that time that they should be spending in their own seat as a candidate, why take that away? That's why take that away completely. I cut my teeth in the 1997 general election, and it was part of behind-the-scenes team that linked up Labour to the Lib Dems, and there was ruthless targeting then, he said. To some degree, with blips around the coalition we have seen most of the recent by-elections, there is a non-complete agreement because none of them have got the resources to spread themselves too thinly, and it's always been the case. I guess the issue that is done in private and under the radar, the public line is that certainly from Labour we compete in every seat, and every voting system incentivises that all opaque, ducking and diving, smoke and mirrors, and that kind of politics. Labour's so-called battleground seats were published by Labour List's website back in January, where it named 150 seats with the smallest swing required for the party to win. In these kind of seats are being matched up with others where Labour came third in 2019 and is not expected to win. Labour sources pushed back against the suggestion that the party was working with any rivals and pointed to a recent by-election in Mid-Bedfordshire as an example of a seat where the party came from third place to a surprise victory. The sources argued Labour was standing in every seat in the general election, encouraging everyone in all constituencies to vote Labour. Yep, you are doing tactical voting. You're saying one thing publicly and maybe thinking privately on that. Compass is pushing for tactical campaign agreements and cross-party alliances to oust the Conservatives in certain seats. It has identified several target constituencies with big-name Conservative MPs they believe could win through a progressive alliance against the Tories. The 9 specific seats Compass is campaigning around the constituencies of Foreign Ministers Dominic Raab, Theresa Coffey, Nadim Zawari and Geoffrey Cox. The group has also singled out the seat of Chancellor Jeremy Hunt. I really hope Jeremy Hunt gets ousted by the Lib Dems. Steve Baker, as well as John Wedgwood, and the 1992 committee chairman Sir Graham Brady. Lee Anderson, the former MP defective reform, is also facing a threat from the Liberal coalition seat in East Axfield, according to Compass analysis. I don't expect Lee Anderson to hold his seat. I really don't think he's going to hold his seat, guys. He's not going to hold his seat. I really don't see him holding his seat. I'm not sure if the Conservatives are going to win it back or not. So it tells me it's probably going to go to Labour. I don't see Lee Anderson holding on to that seat. The campaign group believes gold moulding and ash, Mr. Hunt's seat, and one of the campaign's key targets have been twinned with nearby Crawley, meaning Labour. Activists will be diverting there and leaving their seat open for a Lib Dem win. Mr. Lawson said that even without organised campaign, tactical voting was going to be bigger this year than ever before. I think for philosophication and fluidity and the volatility of voters means that they are way ahead of the politicians, he said. They had to be led more in the past. In 97, it was very top-down and now very grassroots-led and bottom-up. It's the electorate that wants this to happen. They are very much aware of tactical voting. You have to remember social media wasn't around in 1997 as well. Social media is playing a massive part in all this as well. People remember that. You have to remember that. Lib Dem source says even Labour now recognises they have no chance of winning as many blue wall seats where only the Lib Dems can beat the Conservatives. From Surrey to Stratford, lifelong Conservative voters are rallying behind us because they are fed up with the government's appalling record in the NHS, the cost of living and the sewage. And we don't need any pact or deals. Voters know that the best way to get rid of the Conservatives in many parts of the voters is to vote for the Liberal Democrats. In key seats, guys, it makes total sense to vote Lib Dem if it's the most likely candidate out of them. If you are somebody who generally wants the Conservatives wiped out, your best bet is to vote tactically, and in doing so. Where would I look for that? There's a website called stopthetories.org. I strongly recommend using that one. Do not Google tactical voting. There are lots of fake tactical websites that would, and if you go out of your way, if you simply Google and look on them, you will be misled by targeted conservative by conservatives who will put up fake tactical voting websites in order to waste your vote. And you do not want your vote to be wasted. So that's really, really important. Now, as I've said, I'm planning on voting Green. I believe in the Green Party. I believe in their policies. I'm in a Labour stronghold, so my vote isn't really going to make much of a difference, if I'm honest, here. And I fully expect the Labour candidate here, the Labour MP here to hold his seat. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm still not voting with what I'm thinking here. But some of you may be in marginal seats and you're unsure. But if you don't want a tactical vote and you want to vote for who you think is in the best interest, then you vote for who you think is in the best interest, guys. I know we obviously got the local elections coming up, the mayoral elections. I've got my card obviously for that. I have still not 100% decided who I'm voting. I'm slightly towing towards the Green mayor because I really like her policies and that. I know she hasn't got a chance. She's very unlikely to win. Part of me is thinking of voting for Sadiq Khan as well, simply because Susan Susan Hall would be an absolute disaster for London if she was to get in as well. I really think she would be the worst London mayor in the capital's history if we ever voted for her. I generally think so. But that's just me. So, again, cat's making noises. But in terms of the Labour candidates being ordered to face seats and targets or face the sack, I really want to ask you guys, do you think that's been harsh? Do you think that's been brutal from Labour to basically deselect them and whatnot if they don't campaign enough in other targeted seats and not their own that they're standing up to? Do you think that's right? Do you think it's justified? What do you honestly think about that? I generally want to know what people honestly think about that. Let me know your thoughts about that and more in the comments section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share us across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.